everyone, welcome to another episode of LR Talks, where education meets innovation. My name is Adasa, your host for the most, and today we're going to be dissecting another beautiful topic. Our guest is on ground, really fired up to dissect this beautiful topic. And the topic we're going to be discussing today is an important thing. It's something that is responsible for the production of an entity that is responsible for life. But before I introduce this topic to us, I'd like our guest to please introduce himself. Hi, sir. How are you doing today?
Yeah, I'm keeping well. I'm fine.
Thank you very much. Such a pleasure to have you on the show.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you
so I'd like you to introduce yourself to the viewers.
Okay. All right. I'm Olaonipekun Taiwo, the CEO of Farm Fixers, an agri-tech company based in Ogbomoso, Oyo State. So what we do basically is farming, absentee farming, where we actually farm for people. Generally, we have clients all over, in Nigeria, abroad. And what we do for them is just to set up their farms. We manage their farms for them. We help them with farm acquisition as well. So majorly, that's what we do.
Wow, beautiful. Thank you so much for that awesome introduction. I think the viewers now know that this man is indeed the right person for this discussion. So to the viewers, our topic for today is From Farm to Table, Agricultural Impact on the Economy. Like I said, this topic is very important because it is responsible for the production of an entity that provides life. Everybody needs to eat. That's like when we talk about food now, food on the table, before talking about commercial farming. Food is very important. We need farmers in the society, regardless. We need them. They are very important. So the first question I'll be asking you is, have you always wanted to do farming, or it was along the way that you decided, okay, I think this is a very good thing for me to do, and you decided to venture into it?
That's a very good question. I never wanted to do it. Even students in our various universities, when they give them agriculture of, agric extension, either crop or animal husbandry, they will tell you they gave me. Nobody actually wants to do farming, as a course, or let me say agriculture as a course. I never wanted to do it, but what I noticed that there is a problem, food problem in our society, and in Nigeria by and large, even in the whole of Africa. So I decided, because I actually left Lagos, for Ogbomoso. When leaving Lagos, my friends were like, "Oh, guy, are you crazy? Why would you leave? Why would you move out of civilization?" Do you understand? Because if I take you to where we farm, you will know it's a jungle. I'm telling you, it's a jungle. So I never wanted to do it, but it's just, the gap we saw, the problem, of food, security. Do you understand? So what we are trying to do as regards that, because food security is not even enough. We need to move from food security into food sovereignty, where we will be able to feed ourselves and also to actually export what we do. And
yes,
so when we talk about food security, or food sovereignty, it's not just, what you do on the farm alone. You have to add value to what you have. That's when you move from, food security into food sovereignty. You have enough to eat, because if you don't process what you produce on the farm, how do you eat it? You can't eat cassava without adding value to it. Do you understand?
Yeah.
Well, anyway, some people eat it, but if you want to, the derivatives, in cassava is so much. I mean, it's huge. Do you understand? So, but when you add value to what you produce, do you understand? It's cassava we do majorly. So that's why I'm using cassava as actually as a classical example. So if you don't add value to it, do you understand? You can't eat it. So the is the gap for us, is the problem of food security. The challenge, because when you go to some, some places, you will see that people are actually hungry. It's not really about, yeah, we know that there is hunger in the land, because of the economy instability, but it's not just that. All right. Because we are more than 200 now, 200 million. All right. We don't have much. We don't have enough to go around. So that's the problem we are actually having. Take, for instance, Nigeria is the highest producer of cassava in the whole world.
And it doesn't reflect on our economy.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's the point I'm trying to actually bring home. We are doing about 63.3 million metric tons in Nigeria. And I'm telling you, if I tell you how much we are making, you'll be shocked yourself. All right. And if I tell you the level of hunger when we are cassava, Malaysia actually came to Nigeria to take our oil palm seed.
Yeah.
All right. If you know what they are doing with it, you'll be shocked. Do you understand what I'm saying? So these are the gaps that we want to fill. I'm an entrepreneur. All right. Entrepreneurs actually look for problems to solve. Wherever space or whichever space you're operating from, you must look for a problem in that space. You must look for a problem. Well, as an entrepreneur, that should be your slogan. Problem. Look for problems to solve. So that's the problem we are trying to solve, because we just started, building our factory, in somewhere in Ogbomoso here, so that we can actually provide jobs for people. Do you understand? So that so that we can have food to go around, because what we produce where we actually operate, the cassava we produce there does not leave that place, because they consume it there. Not to talk of Ogbomoso, it does not even get to Ogbomoso. Not to talk of Kwara State, that's Ilorin. Not to talk of Oyo Town, it doesn't get there. So the problem of food sovereignty, is what we are trying to solve.
All right. Thank you very much. That's really beautiful. And one of the things I've heard from you is how you're not just working towards food security, but you're also working towards food sovereignty. Now, as an entrepreneur that is providing solutions to these problems, I want to ask you, what is the biggest challenge to food security in Nigeria? One, and what are the sustainable solutions? Now, we've seen brands come up, create solutions to problems, but at the end of the day, we realize that these solutions are not sustainable. So what is the biggest challenge to food security in Nigeria? And what are the sustainable solutions? I mean, solutions that goes on for years that we can sustain to these problems in Nigeria.
Okay. We have lots of problems. Lots of problems. I'll just touch on one or two, because when I start to reel out the problems, we will not live here. Do you understand? Problem on the part, of government, on the part of individuals, because the challenge we are having is youth don't want to go into agriculture because it's not attractive enough.
Yes.
I think that's the number one problem for me, because we have been farming for, close to 14 years now. So the number one problem is individual problem, people problem. People don't want to accept agriculture. They still want to work in the bank. They still want to go to Lagos. All right? They want to, here is a classical example. They it's time for their IT, industrial attachment. Oh, I'm not staying here. I want to go to Abuja. I want to go to Lagos. They are not embracing agriculture. But I won't blame them, like put all the blames on them, because government too has a part to play. How? They need to make the environment enabling for youth to embrace agriculture. And one of the things they should do is, how do you fund agriculture? That's a problem. When we started, government never helped us, because we started with 10 acres. You understand? We are doing, more than 1,000 acres. You understand?
Wow.
The government wasn't there, but because of the grit that we had, the resilience, because of the problem we saw, because we just want to make sure that but there's so much food in the system for people. Government wasn't there, but how many people can actually do what I did? I left Lagos, like I said earlier, to Ogbomoso. Do you understand? To actually start a farming business in the jungle. But how many youths would want to do that? When we started, it was all forest. It wasn't popular at all. You understand? At times you would see a wild animal, dropped on the tree, and it's no joke. I'm telling you the truth. So it's because we were so resilient. We made a resolve that we must solve this problem of food security. Do you understand? So is on the part of the government, they have so much to do. How do you provide funding for people? How do you make the environment enabling for them? When I say making environment enabling, that's security. The security part of it is key. But my opinion now, I think, is us as an individual. What are you seeing? You have to see. If you can't see, I'm telling you, you won't embrace what we are doing. Do you get what I'm saying? You won't embrace agriculture. Do you understand? That's the major problem. For me, that's my personal opinion, because I would actually place, or let me say, I would put, how do I put it now? Knowledge. Do you understand? Before capital. Because I've heard, many a times that how do I start as an entrepreneur? That I need capital first. But I'll tell you, it's knowledge first. If you have the knowledge, because it was knowledge that actually propelled us. So when people saw what we are doing, they actually they drew close to us to learn from us. Do you understand? Because knowledge will actually bring capital to you. So my own opinion, the major problem is individual problem. Do you understand? People don't want to, especially the youth, they don't want to embrace agriculture. That's the major problem for me. Let's leave government, because there is a place in Shaki that the Chinese are actually purchasing. I'm telling you,
Yes.
thousands of hectares to plant cabbage, to plant cucumber, to plant lettuce for us. So in no time, they will take over the food sector. And he who has power in that sector will control, the economy, will control the government if we are not careful. And I would not want a situation that our youth, are slaves, to foreigners. I'm not trying to demean anybody here.
Yes, sir.
It's just a wake-up call that the youth need to rise. We need to rise. We started, no funds from government. I'm telling you, even till now. But it's because of our resolve, the resolve we have made in our heart that this problem must be solved. We must make this thing attractive
Yes,
to
sir.
the youth so that they can, actually embrace agriculture. So people problem, for me, that's my opinion about it.
Thank you very much, sir. That was succinct and straight to point. I also think that additionally, one of the problems that I think the agricultural sector in Nigeria is facing, you mentioned it, but you touched on it, is the problem of insecurity. For example, we've seen news flying around, publications about farmers being attacked on their way to the farm. I mean, now, even if we do not want to dwell on this part of the country, in other parts of the country, farmers are now scared to go to farm. So I also think that insecurity is, because for me as a young person, I really do not want to go through that because I want to be a farmer. The number two, one of the challenges that I also see when it comes to the farming sector or the agricultural sector in Nigeria is how young people gain admission to study agricultural courses. But at the end of 5 years, some of them cannot even plant beans. Some of them cannot even plant. I recall the student, opening up to me last week, and she said that I don't want to mention the name of the school, but she said she's now in her 4th year and she's studying agricultural extension, and she really does not know much about agriculture itself. They just come, download the manuals, and they leave. So I also think there's a problem of education. Now, I'm connecting the educational sector with the agricultural sector now. We're encouraging our young people to go to school to study agricultural courses, to venture into agriculture, but they're also being discouraged in the line of trying to venture into that sector. So what do you have to say to that?
Yeah, I think I've actually touched on that. When I say people problem, we don't want to embrace it. We don't have passion for it. Do you understand? Like I said, they will tell you that, oh, they gave me agriculture. It wasn't what I wanted to study. It was medicine I wanted to study. It was a microbiology I wanted to study. So the problem we are having is our youths don't want to. They are not just there. They don't want to embrace agriculture. All right, because if you are, we have some IT students too that they can't recognize the leaf of cashew. Do you get what I'm saying? So you will just be forced that you will just be like, what have you been doing for 4 years? And I didn't study agriculture. All right, I actually learned on the field. But if you studied agriculture,
you should be better.
Exactly, you should actually come with that knowledge, that bountiful knowledge, that wealth of knowledge. Theoretical now. The theoretical knowledge you have actually garnered for about 4 years on the field. But they don't know. And it's not that they don't, it's because they are not just interested. Do you understand?
Yeah.
That's what I mean by the problem is actually, it's from us as an individual. They are not interested in it.
Yeah.
Once you don't give them that desired course they want, they are turned off. Yes, that's the problem. I mean, they are for 4 years. It will be as if, or look as if you are just pushing them to the stream to take water. Do you understand?
Yes.
So they don't have that interest in it. And another problem I didn't talk about, our universities generally, they are not well equipped.
Yes, that's the point.
Okay, if an agric engineer cannot actually design a tractor accessory, something simple as plowing accessory, or harrowing accessory, or ridging accessory, is a big problem. Where does that person fit in? So that's another problem I think we are facing. But interest is very key. People are not interested.
Yes.
The youth are not interested. Do you understand? Even where they are subsidized, I think in Afe Babala University, agriculture is free. It's tuition free. Even when they go and check how many youths are there, how many students are there to study agriculture. They want to study medicine. So when they see us do agriculture, because what we want to do is we want to make this thing attractive so that they come into it.
Beautiful. I like that. Thank you very much, sir. So I like the part where you said your aim is to make agriculture attractive. So I want us to talk about something really important. You know, farming is very broad, and from farming there is produce, from farming there is waste. So I want us to talk about waste. So the Nigerian farming sector suffers from inadequate infrastructure when it comes to storage facilities, good transportation networks, and so on. And without proper storage, we know that a significant percentage of these products sometimes go to waste. That's one. And number two, sometimes after getting the products that we want, for example, cassava, maybe we get gari, we get starch, we get tapioca, you know, different things from cassava.
Yeah, correct.
How can we monetize waste in Nigeria? Because I've realized that countries around the world, you see that they do not let waste. Now, when you walk behind factories, you see that they waste a lot of things. And you're like, I think this thing can be monetized. Just comparing it to how we now recycle plastics now in Nigeria. Now, talking about food waste, because I have the knowledge that some type of food waste can be used for biogas and, you know, all those things. I think it's from cassava. I'm not very sure.
You're correct.
But I want you to talk more on how Nigerians can monetize waste. So let them know that agriculture is not just limited to planting and harvesting. Okay. So I want you to talk on monetizing waste.
Okay. When you talk about monetization of waste, processing comes first. Let me say that again. When you talk about monetization of waste, processing comes first. If you don't process your produce, there is no how you can get waste.
Yes.
I don't know if you understand what
yes,
I'm saying.
I understand.
If you don't process your produce, there is no how you can get waste. So it's processing first. All right. Take for instance, yes, the waste of cassava is used for biogas. All right. And if you don't bring your cassava into the factory, maybe you want to, because the derivative value chain of cassava is quite huge. Do you understand? You have mentioned some and quite a lot. I don't know if you know this. There is an ingredient in the toothpaste you use called sorbitol.
Yeah. It's
actually got from cassava. It's extracted from cassava. So the thing is, we need to focus more on processing. If the government or private investors, do you understand? If we actually want to monetize waste, we need to focus on processing. We need to fund processing. If we don't fund it, there is no how you can talk about waste. Take for instance, about more than 8 million tons of that fruit of cashew. I don't know if you know that Obomojo has the best cashew fruit.
Yes.
Yeah, in the whole of Nigeria. I don't know if you know that.
I know that.
Yeah, in terms of kernel out on ratio, in terms of nut count, in terms of taste. All right. So that fruit you see is the nut that they sell. That fruit, more than 8 million tons of it, is wasted every year. Do you get what I'm saying? So how do we monetize the waste from cashew if we are not processing? Do you get what I'm saying now?
Yes,
so
sir.
to monetize waste, we need to focus on processing. We know that for cassava, if you process your cassava, we call it HQPC, that high quality cassava peels, you know, is used for, to feed animals. All right. And you can take it a notch higher when you mix your HQPC, that the peels with pomace. Do you understand? When you mix it together and you pelletize it, you know, you get more money, you know, from there. You know, the pigs eat it. You can use it for fish.
Right.
Do you understand? Yeah. Do you understand? So that's that, because it's cassava we grow. So we know the importance of the value chain.
All right. Thank you very much, sir.
You're welcome.
You've really touched on the part that I wanted you to. So we've noticed that most people prefer imported products to locally made products, from bottled water to canned fish to toothpick to so many things. When some people go to the supermarkets, they would see the Nigerian made cornflakes, but they do not want to buy. They see the Nigerian made. I even discovered that when it comes to some products, like, I don't want to mention a carbonated drink, I want to mention something very relative to agriculture. Maybe, let me still talk about canned fish. When some people go to the supermarkets, the canned fish that are Nigerian made, but they don't want to buy, they tell them, I don't want that. Do you have that product? So some people would say that it is because of quality. Do you believe that, foreign made products are better than Nigerian made products? Because that's the issue. Most people, the excuse is, I believe that. So even bottled water, I think it was a few weeks ago, and I saw that somebody said she doesn't take Nigerian made bottled water. She mentioned the name of the brand, and the brand cost, the normal Nigerian made bottled water costs like between 200 naira to 500 naira.
Correct.
But she bought that one. She buys that one all the time. I think it's around 1,000 naira. So do you think it's a thing of quality, or it's a thing of we don't want the country to grow?
No, the problem is if we continue with that attitude, we won't grow. All right. I don't want to use harsh words. You understand what I'm saying? But we continually be behind the world. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
Like, I don't know if you know this. I mean, maybe in the 80s or 90s, what the Russians did. Do you understand? To actually change the face, of their economy. When they started producing their own cars, if you don't buy made in Russia cars, maybe there is a penalty or something. Do you get what I'm saying? So if we don't buy Nigeria, we can't grow. If we don't buy made in Nigeria, we can't grow.
Even when it comes to rice, when we get to the market, we tell them, I don't want local rice, I want foreign rice.
The problem is within. Even when the price of tomatoes went up, do you understand? Some people would say, no, okay, before it went up. Some people will tell you, our women, you should know as well, When they get to the market, they will tell you, no, okay, I don't want to speak Yoruba, but let me say it in local parlance. Let me speak it and I'll translate it. Don't give me Yoruba tomato. That's Alsa tomatoes I want. But when the price went up,
they decided to buy
we
that
actually
one.
fell back on what we produce here. So the problem is just we need a mindset reculturing. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
But I can see a bit of change because I can see what people are doing with Ankara now. I have Ankara I have Kampala that I'm showing. But let me give you this. When we went to Ethiopia for World Without Hunger, that was last year. The first day when we got there, we were on shoot, myself and my partner. The white men were like, okay, they kept quiet. But the second day when I came, in my kente mixed with cashmere, you know what the white guy said? He said, you guys look better today than yesterday. So it shows that they appreciate what we do.
Yes.
But we
need to appreciate it for us.
We are not, we want to do like them. But they celebrate us more. So we need our mindset must be reconfigured. Do you understand? Like what we are doing with Ankara. Look at what is happening in this secular music industry. I remember in the late 90s, or let me say, early 90s, I know the kind of music we used to listen to. Before the likes of Two-Face and Co came, do you understand? And the whole thing has actually, well embraced all over the world because those guys believe in what they are capable of doing. If we don't believe in ourselves, all right?
Yes.
There is no how I can say what I don't believe to you. I believe in Ogbomosho. I so much believe in this style. That's why I came here. Do you understand? I can sell cashew from now. The peculiarities, the opportunities in cashew of Ogbomosho from now till tomorrow. Do you understand? So we need to this reculturing must just happen. That's why I said the problem is with us. Do you get what I'm saying? The problem is with us. And another problem is on the part of the government. At times, what we sell, our produce, is even a bit higher in terms of pricing than what they buy, what they bring from abroad or whatever. Do you understand? So that's another problem. But the major problem here is we need to believe in ourselves. We are producing 63.3 million metric tons of cassava. Thailand came out, I mean, they are behind us with half of what we do. Thailand is making $1.3 billion from cassava derivative value chain. We are making $1 million. We need to believe in what we are producing. Cassava is peculiar to us. It's a staple crop that I'm telling you, the whole of West Africa, in the whole of Africa by and large, Nigeria is the highest producer. So we need to believe in it. We need to embrace it. If I tell you the derivatives you can get from cassava, you'll be shocked yourself. You mentioned...
I want you to mention some of them.
You know, you've mentioned some. Okay, I mentioned sorbitol. You know, you mentioned tapioca. There is a food grade starch that you get from it. Industrial starch. Industrial starch is used by pharmaceuticals. The drugs you use, there's cassava in it. When I say cassava, to bind it, there is a bit of starch in it. And now, cassava flour is the best. It's better than this maize flour that they use abroad, because they want cassava because it's gluten-free.
Yes.
Do you get what I'm saying? You can get flour from cassava. There is fufu flour. There is gari. There is pomace. Yeah, the waste now. There is pomace. Quite a number of products or byproducts you can get from cassava. So if you don't believe in what we are doing, there is no how do I sell it to you? How do I buy? Because you don't even know what you're saying, because you don't believe in it. So quite a number of derivatives or byproducts you can get from cassava. The government too must help. When you fund it, you subsidize it. The price I will sell as an entrepreneur, we will be a bit moderate.
Thank you very much, sir. And talking about the issue of the government too, I've seen people complaining in recent times that this is not the real situation, but why would a medical doctor be the Minister for Agriculture? Why is the Minister for Agriculture not a farmer, or maybe the CEO of a big agri-tech company or an agro-allied company? So I think that is also a problem, because if the Minister for Agriculture is somebody who is well-grounded when it comes to agriculture, when it comes to crops, when it comes to livestock farming, it would be better to want to incorporate that into our economy. But because we put incompetent people in the job because of politics, that's another problem for us. So I want to ask you a question. Now, we're talking about farm to table. We're encouraging people to plant what they eat. We're encouraging people to sell what they plant. Now that we've encouraged people, there might be somebody out there watching us who wants to, start farming, but they do not have any knowledge about farming, no background in farming, they didn't study agriculture. What would you think would be the necessary steps for them to take?
They should go for knowledge first. Go for trainings. That's the number one thing, the number one step, or the first step to take. Knowledge is number one. Because there are some things you don't do in some regions. All right. If you don't irrigate your farm, if you want to plant, let me say, cucumber, do you understand where we are? Even oil palm, where the region that we are in, Guangzhou is in the savannah. Do you understand? So if you want to plant some crops there, do you understand? Because there are some crops, when you put them under water stress, it's either they die, all right, or the yield is drastically reduced. All right. So if you don't have that little knowledge, because you need to understand the rainfall pattern. All right. There is a time that you must plant your maize in the savannah region when you don't really get so much rain. Because if you plant at a particular time, you might actually lose your crop. Like what happened last year. There is what we call August break in agriculture. There's a mini drought, that we experienced from from July 15 to like, mid-August, but elongated till September. So a lot of maize farmers lost money. So this little knowledge, you need to know them. You need to come into them before you can actually start anything. And even our slogan, in our company is, we don't plant what you like, but we plant what will give you your return on investment. We don't plant what you like, because some people will tell you, oh, I love bananas, I love plantain. See, plantain here, where we are here, you may not try very well. We tell you straight. We know the crops that is best, because when you look at what happened, during the regional government, like cocoa in the western region. I don't know if you know about it. Cocoa in the western region, coal in the east, and I don't know if you remember Granite Pyramid in the north. So every region has, one crop or the other. Yes, that's five best in their region. And this cocoa money, the funds, the proceeds from cocoa, is what was used to build cocoa house. To build the University of Ibadan, to build Obafemi Awolowo University. I'm talking about agriculture. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yes,
so quite, it's knowledge. If you don't go for knowledge, you will lose your capital. It's knowledge first. If you go for knowledge, your capital will be preserved. But if you don't go for knowledge, you will lose your capital. Because we have seen people come from Lagos. There was one time that someone said, about 7 years ago, we wanted to plant one crop that would not actually thrive in the region that we are, and is not ready to irrigate. He lost about maybe millions of naira. Do you understand? He had to sell everything he had and all of that, because one of the things one of the reasons people don't want to come into agriculture, I've heard this narrative, this negative narrative about this particular crop and all of that, and I don't want to lose, my money. But when I talk about knowledge, let me give you a classical example. We planted, cotton somewhere around Ogbomoso. Cotton that is used to make the clothes.
Yeah.
You're aware, because the narrative has been, it's only in the north.
Coincidentally, I came across it this afternoon. Around here.
It is only in the north that cotton grows. But the narrative, because like I said, I'm an entrepreneur, we look for problems. The space I'm in, I must look for problems.
Yes.
All right. So the narrative, we ran a pilot project on 4 hectares. That's 10 acres. All right. We planted Bolgal 2 technology. That's the seed we planted. I'm telling you, the yield was massive. So when people saw it, they were like, okay. But we thought, or we used to think that it's the north that we can get cotton. Do you get what I'm saying? But what I'm trying to tell you is knowledge first. Knowledge preserves your capital.
Thank you very much.
Knowledge saves you from losing your money. So it's knowledge. Knowledge first.
Thank you very much, sir. Dear viewers, we finally have a takeaway from today. Knowledge preserves your capital. If you don't go for knowledge, you would lose your capital. You've said a lot of things on the show today, and I must believe that everyone watching today must have learned one thing and must have even been inspired to, go into agriculture. And I want to say thank you for standing for agriculture. Thank you for providing solutions. Thank you for experimenting so that the coming generation can see something to build on. For example, you already talked about a pilot project. Other people who want to venture into agriculture already know that somebody has test-run it and it's successful. Why not let us do it too? So it means that you're an inspiration to young farmers or upcoming farmers who are coming. Thank you so much for agreeing to be on the show. Just before we close for the show, I want to say something just to encourage the viewers. Anybody watching you want to venture into agriculture someday, what do you have to say to them in a short sentence?
Okay. What I have to say to you, my viewers, is that food security or food sovereignty, that problem can only be solved if you and I actually embrace agriculture. If we leave agriculture to the subsistent farmers, we won't get much. We won't get enough to go around. So you and I must embrace. We have so much land in Oyo State. Oyo State is as big as the whole of Southeast combined. Oyo State is as big as the whole of Rwanda as a country. So we have the land as an asset. So let us embrace agriculture.
Thank you very much. That being said, let us embrace agriculture. That's ₦2 million you have somewhere. I think you should invest in agriculture. Thank you so much for being on the show with us. My name remains Adasa, your host for the most on the LR Talk Show, and see you in the next episode. Bye.